Jordan, can you believe it? We're in the presence of an absolute monster. I think that's probably the best way I could sum him up.
I mean, I can't even know. I don't even know what's the best way to describe this guy.
I mean, PCO, how would you describe yourself?
Monster, because the way he came back to life with the electricity and everything, and the fact that I can, I'm not human by the fact that I use my body literally as a human torpedo just to destroy everything. So, yeah, monster sounds good.
Monster sounds right. We've done so much research on this guy. I mean, we've got so much to talk about, man. Let's be honest.
We have. Well, let's kick it all the way back to, I think it's 2018 you came back, PCO, if I'm correct. You had a match with Walter, which is one of my favorite matches of yours. How did that come about? Because that was at Joey Janela's for one of his spring breaks.
Yeah, well, I got a phone call from a promoter in Indiana, Black Label Pro, and he said, I want to review a match with Ethan Page, All Ego Ethan Page. So I go to Indiana, have my match with Ethan Page, and it was a lot of the boys, on that show, and a lot of the boys that wanted to watch my match with Page. And I got there probably 15 minutes before the show started, and I was thinking while I was in Montreal in my aircraft that we've been delayed forever, that I was going to miss that show. So I made it just on time and kind of tore it up with Paige. We had a very good match, and Janela was watching the match, and we went to eat somewhere after. He says, I want you to be at my spring break. He said, last year we did the Joey Janela spring break. It went viral, and he said, this year we want to keep it going, and let's see a match between you and Walter. And I said, I don't know who this guy is, Walter, but anyways, I'll take the match. So that's how it came about.
That's interesting, man. And that, like I said to you, that's one of my favorite matches of yours. And then I think from that, your career is just skyrocketed ever since. You've done so much, man.
Yeah.
What we do?
Yeah. I mean, crazy run with Villain Enterprises and ROH. We got all the titles, the 6-man tag titles, the tag titles with Brody King, the world championship, the world title. So that was so successful, like for 3 years, with Ring of Honor. And then after that, another almost 4 years with TNA. So with some more titles and also some titles with the NWA, tag team champion and the Crockett Cup winner. So yeah, it's been a good ride, very good ride since that Walters match, Gunther. Yeah.
Yeah, changed his name now,
But
right?
I also had like mini matches. I had one with Dragunov in Germany as well for WXW. So, which was one of my favorite match too. And Ebola was big. So Ebola, the Battle of Los Angeles, PWG, that was a big thing too. Like I remember when they announced that I was part of the tournament, how many times this was retweeted and how it became like a big news. So yeah, so everything was pretty cool. It's been a hell of a ride.
Awesome, man.
And for me, it's hard to understand how much Oh, like because I talk to people in France and you guys in the UK, right? So it's hard to judge what the popularity of those companies, what it is over in Europe, the ROH stuff and the TNA stuff and whatever the indie stuff and whatever happened. I know that the UK is big for wrestling too, so fans are really, I guess digging to know what's happening elsewhere, or in the world, in Japan or Australia or wherever. So, but it's really hard for me to know where exactly the the sense of the how could I say that, how many people are getting to know that stuff, to evaluate, because I'm in the middle of it too, so it's hard to have a good judgment on that. I don't know for you. For you, you would be able to tell me more. What's the perception from Europe or from other places towards what we're doing with ROH or AEW or TNA or anything other than WWE.
Yeah, most definitely. Not.
So I want to talk about the PCO character. How did it obviously all come about putting that character together?
How did I put that character together? With Destro. He's not very often with me on the road. I mean, it's very rare that the company wants to bring a manager full time, on the road. For them, it's an expense. But we did so many YouTube videos together, and we did so many things online, whether it was on Twitter or on YouTube or on every platforms. So that we did over 100 videos where it's all about strength. It's all about the character. It's all about putting the monster together from, getting digged up from the cemetery to the getting shocked with the car battery and the cable booster and everything else. So we've been doing so many things online. So people just caught up on it.
I mean, John, it's definitely a unique character, let's be honest.
It's different, and I think for you to evolve yourself into 2018 to now and still maintain the PCO character is quite remarkable. I would say that.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of playing on different angles, and you have to constantly be creative and try to think of different ways to make it like new again, so it's not always the same thing over and over. So there's always something coming up, or something that I'm working on that's about to come up, and I'm really looking forward to the next few next few turns, here and there. I have a few ideas. I know what's coming up, but I don't know yet how I'm gonna play with it. Well, I was gonna come out, but I have ideas for something. So just to keep it interesting.
John, back to you, bro.
I mean, PCO's saying that while grinning, so he must have something remarkable up his sleeve that he's not done before.
No, it's nothing remarkable, but it's just something very different. And I just have to find the right angle. I just want to stack three or four things together and see how it floats. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So Ring of Honor went, I won't say bust because that's not the right word to put, but Ring of Honor went on like a hiatus during COVID, and then Mr. Tony Khan bought it. And then you went to TNA.
Yeah.
You did some of your best work in TNA, and I think some of your best work was with Steph Delander.
Yeah, well, it was certainly entertaining as hell, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What was it like working with Steph?
I think it was good. It was she was super over with that. I mean, she went like very, very. If she didn't get hurt on her neck, and she could have worked more matches, and she could have get like some sort of a push on her own. I think it would have been awesome for her. I mean, but it was probably one of the greatest angle, a good angle for us. It worked out great, and I remember the pop all the time, pops here and there, and everything was good. But it was not an easy task for me to do. I thought it was hard, like, because I knew she had like a real boyfriend, and she was with Mance and everything, and I didn't want to overstep the boundaries, and so I think it was it could have been even better, but I was respectful of our love life and everything, but we could have played with it a little bit more and make it a little bit more interesting, for sure, without going crazy.
Yeah. Are we feeling?
So I'm not sure if you want to talk about this, but do you mind talking about the GCW event? What happened?
I don't care talking about it. Yeah, it's easy. You mean when I smashed the belt?
Yes.
Yeah. It was just me smashing a belt that I thought had not so much value, and I mean, as a belt, as a championship, and it was just a weird time where we had been negotiating my contract for over 2 months, and then I got a match with the Hardys. Like prior to that, in the afternoon, we had a deal, and it was changed like 3 or 4 times over the last 2 months. That was last year in November last year. So, but this year, but in November, or no, last year, November last year, 2024. So, yeah. Well, I just I got concussed in that match with the Hardys, and it was right after the Chris Bay accident,
Mm-hmm.
and right when Chris Bay got paralyzed, a lot of things started to happen. A lot of accidents. They brought in Chris Nowinski for a meeting right after that about the concussions, and it was crazy. I mean, they were panicking for that company was so nervous. They were so over protective of themselves, I guess, and the talent, but I think more of themselves than the talent. But if you look at everything that AEW do, like as far as the nails in the back of John Mox or Darby getting thrown out on the stairs, all kinds of crazy stuff, Um, TNA went the other way, where they went super, super protective. And I guess when I got concussed, and they forced me to go to the hospital, and I told them, I said, I'm my Medicare is free. I can go tomorrow when I go back home and get checked out and everything. And they forced me, and I was not happy because um, they said they were gonna pay for the bills and things like that, for the hospital bills. And I called them and said, listen, it's gonna be what you're asking for. It's a big test, because they did check 4 or 5 different things. Well, it was my whole spinal cord, my neck, my brain. They also check. I don't remember what it's called, the name, but anyways, it was a full medical, basically. It was a lot of machines. Uh, like for what's the name for the trauma?
MRI.
No, the MRI, but there's a name for when they want to check on your brain after you get the concussion. It's
CT
just
scan. CT scan.
CT scan, exactly.
Ah.
So the CT scan and MRI for the spine and the neck and everything. So they checked on everything. Everything came out good. Right away I took a picture of all the statistic that they gave me, all the documents, and I sent it by phone to them. Just tell them I was okay. So they said you can work. Just give it like a day, so you can be back in the ring like in 48 hours. So I sent them all of this, and so that was the last day of the tour. Of course, when I got concussed, I was out like the end of the match. Like I couldn't remember the spot. So they kind of played on the TNA TV, the way they covered it up, it was good, you know. So I was not there when the finish happened. I was not even there, but it happened maybe in the last. It was during their comeback, the Hardys comeback. Um, so basically, I was getting a bump, and then I was supposed to do my deanimator. After that, I was supposed to do a few things. I was supposed to go for the rope. It was supposed to be a backdrop, land on my feet, pull him out, bang him on the apron, climb, do my deanimator, my dive, everything. So, but I forgot everything because I got banged up pretty hard. So, get back home the next day after my night at the hospital. I didn't sleep. I flew back, and I had a Zoom meeting, and they said we're not going to renew your contract for next year. And then I was you know not pissed off, but I I felt like, well, nobody came with me to the hospital. Um, and I'm not bashing TNA right now, but I'm just saying, if something like that was happening with ROH when I was there, like they would have like someone from the company, or they'd send like uh, some, guys that usually take care of the ring or something. Just have someone check on, and then one of the boss would come in later on. And but I just felt like I was thrown in the ambulance, and I had to go, and it was almost not. I didn't like the human side of it, basically. But all those people, like, they got moved out somewhere else after that. Like, I did the thing. I decided to pay for my own medical bills in Boston and in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't bother them with that. I didn't send them anything. I didn't I didn't care about it, but I said I'm gonna smash the title, and it to me it's one of the greatest thing to do to eventually maybe come back. It opens the door. You have something there, but if you don't want to, it felt good to me. It worked both ways, But
Absolutely.
people thought it was totally planned, but it wasn't. But
Okay. Well, brings back to you, bro.
So obviously you've worked with TNA, and then I know how close you are with Scott Demore. Would you say things went downhill, like with just the atmosphere of the locker room when he left?
it's hard to explain. I think they were just. I think after the Chris Bay incident, everybody became so paranoid. I'm going to blame it on the paranoia of not the locker room was great. I think it's still great. It was great. It was one of the best locker room I ever been involved with, or been in it. There's a lot of guys there that I really admire so much for their leadership, and girls and guys and couples, the people that are together, that they're really important to me, and they were really important to TNA. And then I think that TNA are very, very lucky to have them aboard, on board. And those people make TNA very special. And yeah, I really like a lot of people from that company. And it was just a bad timing, I think. The fact that the concussion happened after Chris Bay, I think they were very nervous for different things, and it was just bad timing. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah. OPT, Liam.
So I want to talk obviously about Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. How did that obviously all begin? You ended up going there.
What's that?
So how did you end up obviously at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling?
Well, with obviously with my connection with Scott Demore, because Scott's the one. I met Scott at TNA in 2003, I believe, the first time I was there as X, and when they brought me back. Scott was always referencing to that. We finally got X back, so he made a lot of joke with that, and and we got along great. I mean, and everything that people that were writing that weren't there anymore. Like at the end too, like we lost a few writers on the way, uh, but you know. Because that was a big part of TNA, because the Montreal show, the Slammiversary 2024, was the biggest Slammiversary over 10 years, in the last 10 years for the company. And we just had a meeting with our president saying, okay, PCO sold more shirts that night than any other superstars in TNA. I had the best numbers on merch for one night. Montreal was the best house of the year, was the best numbers, the best drawing, was the best on pay-per-view sale, and everything was great, And it was a big part of that, a major part in it. And so that's why I was a little bit confused, when all the paranoia happened after the Chris Bay accident. They every accident, like someone, I think Jake something broke something. Jake something broke something, and I think. someone else tore his leg, his quad. And it was so many accidents at the same times, and I just think they started to, especially for head bumps and things like that, they started to go crazy for that. And I was just my concussion just happened at a very bad timing, and yeah. But I just wanted to say that Montreal was like my conversation with the PR team and with the president and the vice president during Montreal. I said, let's go full house because they wanted half of the arena. They wanted to do 2,000 people. I said, let's go 4,000. Let's go all the way, let's pack that building. And they were, no, we never did that. We can't do that. It's impossible. It's not going to work. And it was super negative where I had to sometimes dig in and some old press or old, positive thinking that I had like in my notes or whatever, something that happened with someone that, took chance and was willing to go for the long run, the home run. And let's say if we don't go for the home run now with the wind, on our side and everything and the buzz, we're never gonna go big. And so eventually they decided to go big, and then after they did their kind of right in between that time or just after that, maybe 6 months after, they really start doing a lot of stuff with NXT. And then this year was their biggest TNA house, I think 8,000 people. So I feel like I'm part of the growth, like the thinking, like the mindset, the thinking mindset of, yes, it's possible. We can be a major. We can be a major. We're not just a small company, a 300, 400, 500 seats company, but we could do thousands and thousands of people we can draw to. And that's the mindset I wanted to bring in. That's the mindset I brought in, getting to TNA, and that it started with Scott D'Amore when he went from Impact to TNA. We're going back to TNA. That was the big first step. It's not just me, but Scott D'Amore with the big first step, saying now we're going back to TNA. So it was a good statement there. And then after that, they fired him on January, kept the ball rolling, and every time they said something to me like, no, if we pack too much people on Saturday, we're afraid that Sunday we might not be full enough. And my response was always the same. Well, it can't be worse than what we had in Memphis. We had 3 rows of chairs around the ring. So, and then that was always that. So, I was really involved, I really wanted it to be big, and I wanted the company to succeed, I just the way I am, So.
Absolutely. John, back to you, bro.
I want to say, when you was doing I've been speaking to you quite regularly, and last year when you was doing a lot of press and touring and going around and promoting TNA Slammiversary. I remember you doing that heavily.
Yeah.
Your schedule was hectic.
Yeah, that was the same thing last year. So Scott hired me for Maple Leaf Pro. So he wanted to do the Maple Leaf Garden, the old Maple Leaf Garden, and he wanted to do Montreal because he knew that what I did for TNA. So last year I had to do this same amount of work, if not more, to have as many people as we had with TNA, with a total unknown company, with a 1 year, not even a 1 year old company. So it was a big, big, big challenge. It was a lot of work. So I main evented that night against Dan Maff, and this is gonna go down on one of my greatest souvenir ever, as far as the warmth of the crowd, the size of the crowd, the welcome, the way I was received when I came in for my entrance, people popping all the way from the beginning to the end of the match, having Billy Gunn involved as a special guest referee, having Billy Gunn, being able to toss up like four goons and, do his finisher and being involved and having Billy Gunn involved with me, which, kind of tie us into when we worked against each other back in WWE. So that was a cool moment. That was a cool match. It's a match, another of my favorite match. So the one with TNA in 2024, this year in 2025, the Walter match, and I have like a bunch of other matches. My Brett's matches. I have like tons of favorite matches, but the one in Montreal this year for Maple Leaf Pro was unbelievable.
Definitely, man. And you've also had the chance this year to work with Shotzi. What was that like?
That was cool because she likes what I do, and so she likes my style, and she likes the crazy stuff that I do. So just the fact that we were working together, had the chance to tag team together. It was a cool moment. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Awesome. Over to you, Liam.
I mean, like I said, you've been in so many multiple promotions and stuff like that. I mean, you mentioned obviously some of your favorite matches, but have you got any other matches which are your favorites?
The one with Rouge.
Yes, that's a good one. Talk about that.
My match with Rouge?
Yes.
Well, if it's not my favorite match as far as how everything went. We could have done so much more. It felt like we were limited a little bit by Rouge. Well, I don't know what it was. If it was the superstardom that he has over in Mexico, or there's certain bump that he didn't want to risk. That would have been fucking awesome, I wanted to chokeslam him from the top of the hearse to a couple of tables down, and that was safe, and that would have been great. But he was not up for it. So, and then I don't know. I mean, the match. What made the match was like he threw me and the guardrails, like they were piled up on the floor, and you have like the knives, the legs of the guardrails. So when they're on that side, on that side, it makes a 12-inch like a platform. So, but it's tiny like a knife. It's like 1 inch wide by 12-inch long. So the way Rouge stacked up all the barricades on top of each other, you had a knife everywhere. And then he gave me the belly to belly from the roof of the hearse. I slid on the hood and on the barricades. I almost killed myself there. And then he threw me from the ramp from the stage where we came in and to the same rail guards, like laying on the back. And if you look at it, like I'm probably 4 inches of dying, 3 inches. I'm falling right in the middle of all the knives coming up, so that in itself was just a stressed out moment, for everybody in the back, and for ROH, the company, and for the fans. Just seeing that, like, that's crazy, so you don't know, like, is he gonna be okay or not? And then And then so that's the only the other place where I was a little bit disappointed too was like we had like a bunch of doors stacked under the ring and a ladder. So we were supposed to do something with the ladder. And I don't know what happened to Rouge with a pre-workout or whatever happened. He jumped over the barricades and he got like a mini ladder, like a 2-foot ladder, and he put it in a corner, and that kind of sent me into the ladder. But instead of being a big ladder, it was a mini ladder, which was kind of, you look at it, you look, oh, that's nothing special to it. You know? So, but I'm not gonna knock his attitude because his attitude was right, but I felt like he was super over pumped for that match. It was over. I don't know how to say that. Not even pumped, like cranked up or whatever, hyped up. It was hard to move around. It was that into it, like that crazy into it, like into his character or into whatever. It's just hard to just communicate with him too, you know, because he doesn't speak much English. And I tried to tell him the ladder is under the ring. Don't try to go get someone in the stands, but and all the time they would say, "Stay away from the guardrail." And the first thing, he's picking up Destro and he's throwing over the railing. So he was wild, you know. Yeah, Rouge was wild, man. It was a wild match in every sense of the word. But it was one of the greatest souvenir ever.
Over to you, Wombreey.
In the 6 years of existence of AEW, have you ever had any conversation to either be signed with them or appear on their show?
Yeah, many times. Many times. From the get-go, I was talking to Cody quite a bit, and the Bucks and Cody, and they wanted me not to sign with ROH and to sign with them. But by the time they made the final offer to me to go with them, I had just came back from Baltimore from a big meeting with the president at St. Clair in the office. So they had promised me a lot of things, and they kept their words. You know, they haven't lied to me one bit. Everything they promised me, they came up with, and it was just hard to turn up a deal like that for a company that didn't have TV yet. You know, they were just running shows. Like they wanted me for double or nothing, the first one in Vegas, and supposed to work Kenny Omega for this one, and I had to turn it down because I had gave my word to Joe Koff, who passed away last year. The president was a great president, very awesome person, very good to work with. I still have a lot of good friends from the former ROH company, Gary Juster and Yan King, and a bunch of friends. Made good friends over in the office, the boys. Great place. Even Marty, you know, still a good friend. We're still good friends. I don't endorse or condemn because I wasn't there. So, but for the time being with him, uh, he always been great to me. He was always great to me. Always good with me. Had known him like back in the days when him and Nick Aldis started up in the pro wrestling business when I was working for All Star Wrestling for Brian Dixon. And this was the first time we met. And we always, I was good with them and they were always good with me. And so that was an easy way in for me with ROH. Great family there. So, yeah. So, you know, I only have good things to say. You know, it was just that bad spot there at the end with TNA. And I understand why they were like that. And I just put it on timing and saw great, good souvenirs. And I'm not here to bash anyone or anything. I think it's been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. Liam, over to you, mate.
If the opportunity come back to go to TNA, would you take it up?
What's that?
If the opportunity come back for you to go back to TNA, would you go?
Well, depending what the opportunity would be. If it's a good opportunity, yeah, I would go. It depends. I wouldn't go like maybe for just one show or something like that. But if depending, depending what it's always different. It depends what it is, what's the reason, what's the creative, what's the end goal, and if everything adds up, yeah, I would go. I have no bad blood, especially not even against the people who fired me or didn't resign me after they said they would resign me. I think when they put a new president in Scott's shoes, this guy didn't know nothing about pro wrestling, and so that there was like maybe one or two guy didn't know much about pro wrestling, and I think it was hard for them to make decisions. But you have your wrestling brain now. You have like the Tommy Dreamer is still there, and the Delirious, and all those guys, and then Storm. So it's a great team there. Yeah, they're doing great. So I don't see any problem. AEW also had like different other opportunities. After one time, I had like a staph infection on my elbow, so I had to miss a super important match. I was supposed to face Jericho for the ROH World Title, because that was when he was Ocho Jericho, when he was saying I'm going to defeat every former ROH World Champion.
Okay.
And all the fans were asking PCO, why you don't face PCO? So eventually they contacted me. So I was working on it. It was for, I think it was November 23rd, the Chicago show in 2023, November something. Well, October 23rd, the October show in 2023 in Chicago. Jericho, I think he faced, instead of me, it was Dalton Castle who took my spot. But it was supposed to be me. But also I had to work something with Scott. But Scott didn't like it because at that time they were supposed to put the world title on me in Montreal. But originally the plan in Montreal, the show was supposed to be for at the beginning of the year, like February or something like that. But we went to see the venue. We're supposed to rent that venue for, I can't really tell what's the name of the show. It's Not Hard to Kill, the one after. anyways, after when we became TNA, the Hard to Kill was pushed back for another name. That was when they were trying to survive the Impact time. Hard to Kill was, you can't kill the Impact TNA. Well, it was just Impact. But anyways, it was supposed to be for a March or February. And the window was wide open for PCO to become a world champion in Montreal in the main event. That's what we had agreed. And so by the time we did it at Slammiversary in July, so the window was closing on me a little bit because Joe Hendry was getting super over. And Nick Nemeth had joined the company too. So it's like all the build up we did for PCO to become world champ. Well, we can keep it running because now it was like other players too involved in that race, and timing wise, it would have been hard, to put the world title on me. So I think it's Nick that became the world champion that night. Nick Nemeth became TNA World Champion at Slammiversary 2024. It was July 20th, 2024. Yeah.
Interesting. So
yeah,
the final question.
I don't know because when he signed his deal, I don't know what kind of negotiation he went through because Scott was not in the picture anymore. So, it was supposed to be the Montreal show, me becoming the TNA World Champion, and we couldn't do that anymore. So that's why I had the double title, the international champion and the digital champion. So I had two titles. That was kind of a, a way to say, PCO's going to be a champion anyhow, but not going to be the world champion.
Yeah, that's interesting. You said that, man. It's amazing. Like when you speak to people, like you hear their stories and what could have happened and what should have happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's pro wrestling. It's a lot about timing and things like that.
Yeah. So the final question, man. What is an inspirational message from PCO?
Inspirational message.
I ask everyone. We like to finish on a high.
Yeah, well, for me, it's consistency, discipline, and sometimes when you're on a downer or something, and you think sometimes you think you're close to your goals, sometimes you think you're far from your goals, and you don't feel good. Just if ever, yeah, I took that from a Marine. The Marine was saying like, it's when they do buds camp, right? It's super tough, and guys like David Goggins and Joko Wilnick, and there's a bunch of others, and I like to listen to their stories because they got good stories, and there's so many guys that ring the bell because it's too hard, it's too tough, and they don't make it. Basically, they kind of quit, So that guy's trick was like every day that he wanted to quit because it was tough or it was hard or it was not going his way, he was always saying, "I'm going to make my bed in the morning. I'm going to have my breakfast, do my, all the way work, all the way to dinner, all the way work, all the way to the dinner, supper, whatever. And I'm going to quit tomorrow." And the next day would say the same thing over and over. So he would always push it back to tomorrow. So the tomorrow would be, okay, I'm going to wait tomorrow. So he would never quit. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome, man. Where can people find you?
Well, X, TikTok, Instagram, PCO is not human, and on Facebook, PCO Car Wallet. And and if you want to see a lot of videos that I've did over the years, on my YouTube, you can subscribe to my YouTube page. I have some stuff in French, but I have mostly stuff in English. So there's a lot of stuff that you could go through. PCO World on the YouTube, PCO World. That's about it.
Awesome, man. I want to say thank you, PCO, on behalf of myself and Liam. But Liam, I'm going to let you wrap this one up.
So I always like to end the show. I mean, how do you want to be remembered in wrestling?
I'm not even there yet. I don't even think about that stuff yet. You guys, you got like some stuff that I don't even think about it. I think I'm gonna let people come up with that. I don't even know. I don't know what to say. I don't think it's that much important. I think for me, it's just to do, what I want and what I like. Because at the end of the day, whatever legacy you leave, it's pretty much up to myself to remember all the good moments. And it's good for the fans. And I don't, every show they always come up to me and they say, "Yeah, it's great what you're doing for the business, putting your body on the line to entertain us and things like that." But, well, it's just I was born to do that, and I always wanted to do that. So it's just my life, and that's my souvenirs. And probably when I get a super older and I tell some kids that I've done some stuff, they probably won't believe it until they go see it online. But that's why I don't know. I don't want to put too much importance on how I want to be remembered, because I don't feel I'm there yet. But there's so many things that can happen still. There's a lot of things up in the air, so we'll see how it goes. I really don't know. Sorry about that.
So, no worries.
John, I mean, one thing we can safely say, he's definitely left a mark on the wrestling.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Hope so.
So, do you want to wrap this up then, pal?
You do it, Liam.
So, thank you so much, PCO, for taking the time to talk to us, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And enjoy the rest of your week.
All right. Thanks, William and Jordan. Thank you, guys. Appreciate